how Valentino Rossi's right-hand man exposed what makes Marc Marquez untouchable, and why the Rossi-influenced hate only fuels the fire. Part 1. The War of Influence. Here's the thing. When people say they hate Marc Marquez, most of them don't even know why. Scratch the surface, and it's not about his riding, his victories, or his character. It's about a ghost, Valentino Rossi. Rossi built MotoGP's modern fan base. He turned circuits into carnivals, his number 46 into a religion. He created a cult, not just a following. For years, every new rider was measured by Rossi's shadow. If you beat him, you were a villain. If you bowed to him, you were loved. That's the psychological chokehold Rossi held over the sport. Then came Marc Marquez, a kid who didn't read the script, a rider who didn't play the circus, a wolf who didn't care for the carnival lights. Marquez didn't kneel to Rossi, he destroyed him. And that's when Rossi's fan base, poisoned by bitterness, turned into the loudest anti-Marquez choir. The hate was never about what Marc did on track. It was about the reality he forced the world to accept. Rossi was no longer the king. Even now, in 2025, you can hear it. When Marquez wins, the Rossi cult cries, luck, politics, Ducati advantage. But when Uccio, Rossi's lifelong brother-in-arms, his right-hand man, his shadow since the 90s, comes out and admits Marc is especially in a class of his own, that hits different. Because it's no longer the haters screaming from the cheap seats. It's the man Rossi trusts the most. Part 2. Ducati's Devil, the swing-arm story Balaton Park, 2025. A new track, a chaotic challenge. Ducati entered with stability issues. Too much grip at the rear, the front collapsing under pressure in the chicanes. Riders were lost, setup scrambled. Enter Marc Marquez, not just riding the Ducati, rewriting what a Ducati could be. Alessio Uccio Salucci laid it out. Ducati had to go with a longer swing arm to fix the problem. Normally, on a tight, twisty track, you'd shorten the bike. You'd chase agility. But Ducati went the other way. And who was the rider pushing that limit? Marquez. Uccio, and you can guess who has an especially long swing arm. Marc Marquez. That's not just a technical note. That's a revelation. Marquez isn't just fast. He's operating in another dimension of feel, where he takes a setup others wouldn't touch and bends it into victory. While Bagnaia, Ducati's supposed golden boy, drowned in P9. While Di Giannantonio got buried in P15. While Morbidelli, on the same brand, was 12 seconds adrift. Marquez won the Hungarian GP by over 4 seconds on a bike stretched into alien territory. 8 poles, 10 wins, 12 podiums out of 14. A 175-point lead in the championship, and the possibility to seal his 7th crown at Misano, Ducati's home. That's not dominance. That's a massacre. Part 3. Rossi's influence machine. Now here's where it gets gangster. The hate for Marquez has always been political. Rossi engineered it. Flashback to 2015, the Sepang clash. Rossi kicked, Marquez held his line, and the propaganda machine went nuclear. Rossi painted Marc as the villain helping Lorenzo. He spun it into betrayal. His fans bought it wholesale. From that moment, Marquez became the Antichrist to the Yellow Army. And even now, 10 years later, the echo is alive. Every time Marquez crushes a weekend, the Rossi faithful squirm. They can't stand the fact that the man they were taught to hate has outlived their idol, switched brands, and is now on the verge of conquering with Ducati. But here's the irony. Rossi's own right-hand man, Uccio, is the one saying out loud what the cult refuses to admit, that Marc Marquez is untouchable. That the longer swing arm, the move that brought stability back to Ducati, wasn't a Ducati idea. It was Marquez's territory. Rossi built the influence machine. Marquez broke it. Part 4. The numbers don't lie. Let's get brutal with the math. Marc Marquez 2025 season so far. 14 rounds, 10 wins, 12 podiums, 8 poles, 7 straight sprint GP doubles, leading by 175 points. Francesco Bagnaia, 1 win, 14 podiums, 227 points behind Marquez. Fabio Di Giannantonio, VR46 Hope, 2 podiums, 301 points behind Marquez. Pedro Acosta, the future, P2 at Hungary, still learning, still miles behind Marquez's pace. This isn't competition, it's execution. And think about this. The only other Ducati riders on the GP25, the most advanced machine in the world, are Bagnaia and Di Giannantonio. Both buried, both humiliated. And yet the Rossi narrative would have you believe Marquez is just on the best bike. No, the data kills that argument. On the same machine, Bagnaia and Di drown while Marquez surfs. That's talent. That's mastery. Part 5. The coming coronation Misano looms. Ducati's temple. Rossi's backyard. The theater where legends are made or destroyed. And here's the script no Rossi fan wants to see. Marquez, the hated villain, the so-called destroyer of the Doctor's fairy tale, could take his 7th world title there. Imagine it. Marquez standing on the podium at Misano. Ducati red drenched in champagne, 222 points clear, mathematically untouchable. In the land of yellow, the man they booed becomes the king they can't deny. Marquez himself, gangster that he is, almost doesn't want Misano. He wants Japan or Indonesia, where his brother Alex could shine. That's loyalty. That's class. Even when he can end the war early, he plays the long game. That's the long game. That's why he's the king. Part 6. Why the hate proves his greatness. Here's the ultimate truth. The louder the hate, the bigger the shadow you cast. Nobody boos the irrelevant. Rossi fans booed Marquez because he did the one thing Rossi never could, destroy legends in their prime. Though Pot, he dismantled Pedrosa, humiliated Lorenzo, crushed Dovizioso, outlived Rossi, and now buries Bagnaia on Ducati's throne. And the best part? Even Rossi's right-hand man sees it. Uccio didn't have to admit it, but he did. Marquez is especially in a league of his own. That's Rossi's inner circle acknowledging the enemy is the king. That's the gangster move. Marquez doesn't need to convince anyone. His riding does the talking. His titles seal the deal. His dominance leaves no oxygen for excuses. Part 7. Legacy carved in blood. When this season ends, whether in Misano, Japan, or Indonesia, the book closes on all arguments. Marquez will be a 7-time MotoGP champion. He will have conquered on 2 brands. He will have destroyed the Rossi narrative. The Rossi cult will scream, but history doesn't care about fan fiction. History only remembers the numbers, the titles, the domination. And in that ledger, Rossi's shadow fades while Marquez's empire rises. Part 8. The gangster verdict. So let's not sugarcoat it. Valentino Rossi created a kingdom, yes, but Marc Marquez came, burned it down, and built an empire on the ashes. The hate? Manufactured by Rossi's influence. The truth? Even Rossi's right-hand man admits Marquez is on another level. When Misano comes, when the boos rain down, when Ducati's crown is claimed, remember this: the hate doesn't matter. The swing arm doesn't matter. The cult doesn't matter. Marc Marquez is the king, and kings don't ask for respect. They take it.